2 and 1. Hi, this is Joe Pep, behind the scenes with the Antique Automobile Club of Cape Fear in beautiful Wilmington, North Carolina. And we're here today for Riverfest. And today I'm with
Sharon Hamby.
And what kind of car is this, Sharon?
And this is our 1923 Ford Model T.
And who's the other lucky fellow that owns this car?
My husband.
Oh, your husband.
Michael Hamby. He's around the front of the car. We'll get over there in just a second.
And as I always call him, Hambone. So, so let's start. You know what? We're going to do backwards. So let's start with the back end of the car.
Okay.
And give us a tour.
All right. So the back end here, we actually do have some brake lights on there, which is a good safety feature to have when we're out on the road. We typically at night will actually add on an extra little safety light just for more visibility.
Right.
Of course, back then in the 1920s, there weren't a whole lot of cars out on the road.
That's right.
There weren't a whole lot of roads, period.
Right. Yeah.
So you know that was a far image of anybody's mind to have that type of thing. But today it's kind of necessary.
I always love the license plates of the day.
Yes.
So this is a genuine 1923 North Carolina license plate.
Absolutely, yes.
Alrighty. So let's go on to the next part of the car.
Okay. All right. We'll
I'll follow you.
To the side here. So moving on to the side. 4 doors, 2 on each side, and all of the interior is actually original, so it's unrestored. It's exactly how it was back in 1923, which is a really cool thing. We haven't had to restore the interior at all. Really, for the most part, most of the car hasn't been restored. Just a little, tweaks to the engine every now and again to keep her going good, but that's about it.
Wow.
If you want to zoom in at any point.
Yeah, well, you have. We always, it's good for people to watch because this is an education.
Right, exactly.
They
it's
don't get to see
educating.
These cars. That's right.
Exactly.
So, what got you interested in before you were you interested in old cars before you met Mike, or?
I wasn't interested in old cars. Cars in general, yes, but I was interested in more modern day cars, I have to admit.
Like muscle cars and things like that?
Yeah, like, supercars and, muscle cars, things like that. So the old cars has been a new addition to my life, but it's been a good addition.
Just like
so I'm
hubby.
still learning, actually.
Well, okay. Well, this is good that you're giving a tour.
Exactly.
Because there's our guests, men and women, that like to know more about these cars. So let's take a look at the side part here.
Right. So we actually added on an accessory piece. These floor mats are just accessories that were up to date and accessible for the day. So back then, what roads that there were awfully muddy.
Right.
So there was no pavement, no nothing. So needless to say, it helped to wipe your feet off before you got in the car.
Wipe your feet. Right.
Yes.
So you had to wipe your feet to get into the car.
Right.
And wipe your feet when you come into the house. And you know what? The new cars now have nothing like that. So you got to click your boots to get the snow off or the mud.
Exactly.
And that.
Exactly.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the inside here.
All right. So like I said, it's fully unrestored. So it's original, all original on the inside. So it's got a lot of character, we'll say. And my husband's displayed out some tools of the day.
Yeah.
And that was what you carried around because there was a good chance you might break down on the side of the road. And the nearest gas station, well, there weren't too many of them to say the least back then.
No.
So you had to be able to do some repair work on your own. Otherwise, you weren't going very far at all. Right.
And now Mike and I were in this car for a 4th of July parade, and we had this window open here plus all the other windows, and it was cool inside. I mean, it wasn't like an iceberg, but it was cool. I thought it was going to be like a hot tin can,
Right.
So,
and during the winter, if you keep the windows closed, it's actually quite warm in there, and there is absolutely no heat, just body heat.
No heat, no defrosters, ungats. Wow. Wow. Can you open up the back door and we can just see the rear seats here? Wow. Let me just pull back a little bit here.
There's a few modern day accessories in there.
Yeah, but still. Well, hey, listen. You know what? You're human beings. You should see my car.
That's right. We gotta live.
Wow. Now, is that a curtain in the back over there?
An actual curtain in the
back.
Wow. Yes.
See, every car has a story. And look, a dome light. Now, did that dome light, was that the original dome light?
That one, I I'm not 100% sure. We can ask Mike in a second about it.
Okay.
It is original. He's thumbs up on that. Yes.
Yeah.
Original
Wow.
downline.
Wow.
Yes.
And here's the tools again. So anybody looking for tools, give your friend that has a Model T. So let's see. Hey, Don Lisa from Westchester or somewhere there up in New York State. Hey, how you doing? How was your vacation in Disneyland? Ron Harmer, Joe Bailey. Oh, Josh Bailey. Sorry, Josh. I got a bright sun here. Charlie Shea. Hey, my friend working in Motor City. How you doing? John Barry. Oh, we got everybody here today. Well, it's a beautiful day here in Wilmington, and we're going more with the tour. So, whoops, excuse us, gentlemen. So this is our engine. Wow. And you have an oil can. Got to have an oil can by these old machines. Wow. I like how high the tires are. Now I have a good friend of mine, Joe Palmucci out of Connecticut. And he has a 27. And we went riding in cornfields up in Connecticut.
Oh, wow.
And this car was up, and he didn't get stuck. That's the crazy thing. He didn't get stuck.
You'd be surprised. These cars do amazingly well, and the oddest of conditions and rougher conditions. We actually took this car out when it snowed in Wrightsville Beach earlier this year, and it was amazingly stable. It did great in the snow, better than his truck.
Now, is this your chauffeur? Who's this gentleman here?
This is my other half. I'll claim him. He's my husband. He's the one who drives it. So if you want to know any details about how to drive the Ticas, are very different. They don't have your typical gears and everything. It's just pedals on the floor, a couple pedals on the floor, and then
it goes.
On the steering wheel, right?
Now you're going to ask Mike to start the car,
yeah,
right?
I think that would be a great thing to show everybody. That's everybody's favorite part. It always draws such a crowd when he it does hand crank. Now we do have an electric start just as a fail-safe, but the hand cranking is always more fun.
Okay.
From 1919 through 1927, it was an optional electric starter put on them, but most of the time it's more fun to actually hand crank it to get the old authentic, and it makes people, actually winds them up pretty good when you get out here and hand crank the car.
Okay, so why don't you give us a demonstration there, and excuse me, Mr. 26, he's going to be hand cranking an automobile. Would you like to stick around and see it?
When's that?
Right now.
Here we go.
Okay.
So I've already set the fuel, I've already set the timing advance on the distributor. I popped the crank out. You always want to hand crank this with your left hand. If not, you can actually break your arm. If the crank stays engaged, it comes back and hits your arm when it's running. So you always hand crank it with your left hand, and you never hold your thumb around the crank. You'll break your thumb.
There you go. Now, are there anything different yet to set on the car?
Yes. So right now, the spark is totally retarded. So as you hear, it sounds completely different. It sounds like lagging a little bit. There's the spark advance. I'm going to advance it. Hear how she picked up, and she also smoothed out. So right now, it's advanced. I can bring it back, and you'll hear it starting to, sounds like it wants to stall. You'll start counting the cylinders.
And how many cylinders do we have?
4 cylinders.
4 cylinders.
Now it's pretty much retarded at this point, and you can hear it. It sounds a whole lot different.
That runs fantastic for a 95-year-old car.
Exactly. Now if you come in here, there's 3 pedals on the floor. My wife was discussing these pedals. So right now, if I mash this pedal forward, that's low gear, and you hear it starting to try to go forward, but I got the emergency brake on. When this emergency brake is off, which I can do with the car off, watch that pedal. It's going to come all the way back through neutral.
And it pops out.
And it pops out. When it pops out like that, that's high range. This is the reverse pedal, and this is the brake pedal.
Reverse pedal. Okay.
And you can use a combination of all three of these pedals to stop this car. So if you're going down the road and you can mash it and put it in low range, you can mash the reverse and you can mash the brake. You play it like a piano.
So who taught these people? You know, you're the first person within a 20-mile range of your home. Who taught these people how to drive these cars?
The dealer taught the consumer how to drive it.
Now, some of this came easy because a lot of people were farmers.
Absolutely.
So this runs just like a tractor, right?
Runs just like a hydrostatic tractor of nowadays. In fact, these cars were very popular on during the week. They would jack them up, take a wheel off, put a belt over the wheel that's left. These are clincher wheels, so just the tire and the steel frame comes off. But they would put a belt around the actual wheel and axle and run a sawmill or a piece of equipment, or I've even seen pictures where they're pulling plows with them through the fields. And then on Sunday, they put the wheel back on, wash it off, and take it to church.
Take it to church.
Yeah, it was a multifaceted vehicle. In fact, even up into like the 30s, the Model A's, they were doing the same thing with the Model A.
Imagine someone doing that with their Lexus. Well, dear, I'm going to take my Lexus out into the farm field. I don't think so. Well, Mike, oh, here we go. This is my favorite part here. And we talked about this last time you were on. And no, it's not a mailbox. So what do we got? Container number 1, the red one. What's that?
Gasoline.
Gasoline, okay.
Antifreeze.
Antifreeze, okay.
Oil.
Oil.
Back then, gas stations were not on every corner like they are now. And even now, the gasoline has saved my tail a couple of times.
Yeah.
There is no fuel gauge on this car. This car, the fuel tank is underneath the front seat. So here is your fuel tank right here.
Let me get this here.
The actual fill.
Wait a minute. Okay, so the gas
fill
tank's
is right here on the other side. I just
Right.
pulled this side because we
Okay.
were standing here.
And
But that's your fuel tank right where you're sitting.
to think Pinto got a bad name because of where the gas tank was located. I mean, this thing's right under. This thing is right underneath your seat.
I hit the electric start button.
Oh, you knew that. Now, Sharon, come on over here. You guys were recently at the Trump Charlotte Concours Elegance,
That's correct.
and they treated you like royalty. And tell us about that event last weekend.
That event was one of the best shows I've ever been to. Just hands down. I went to Hilton Head last year, and I've been to Charlotte. Both events were absolutely amazing. Charlotte's crew, Gavin.
Yep. The
he
director
is
of the event, yep.
Well, he's also the general manager of the Trump National Golf Course. He is just an amazing gentleman, and
you're invited back
his
for
whole-
next year.
His whole staff has just laid everything out for us, did everything they could. We had had about 2 inches of rain on Friday, and they had to end up moving the show, and did it flawlessly. You wouldn't even know they skipped the beat. They fed us, they took care of us, and
Top
just
notch,
top
shelf,
notch.
top shelf.
And the Concours d'Elegance shows are more prim proper, and they're done as a charity event. So the owners of the cars don't pay to be in the show, but the spectators do, and then all those proceeds go to a charity.
St. Jude's, I know, is one of
Jude's-
them. Yeah.
St. Jude's was the one for Charlotte, and it was and I know Boca Raton's is, I believe, the Boys and
Yep.
Girls Clubs of America. So it's a worthy well-worthy charity gets the
Right,
proceeds
right.
from these higher-end events.
Okay, so hey, folks, you know, it's if you're looking for a concourse event and you don't want to go down to Florida, North Carolina, the third week in November, it's called the Trump Charlotte Concours d'Elegance. So this is Joe Pep behind the scenes with Mr. and Mrs. Hamby.
And remember, take a kid to a car show.
Take a kid to a car show. It's an outdoor history lesson on 4 wheels.
Exactly. That's how I got started. My father got a 1930 Model A, and it was a father-son project in our garage, and that's how I got started in these cars.
That's right.
Yes, take
So
a
do
kid
it.
to a car show because we need to keep this hobby going for the future generations.
That's right. Well, this is Joe Pep signing off. Happy Thanksgiving there, Hambies. And we'll be back with more fun stuff from Wilmington, North Carolina at Riverfest and the AACA here in Wilmington.